Family Association and AFA Today.
And battling to get back to that morally and biblically based culture is harder than it was a few years ago, simply because we are living in the new world where if you stand up for anything that is moral or virtuous, you tend to be pegged as part of the problem. Hi, it's Kevin McCullough, AFA Today and AFR Talk, coming to you from the belly of the news beast here in Lower Manhattan, right next to Trinity Church, historic Trinity Church, and literally in the shadow of the Freedom Tower. In fact, today I took the train. Haven't done this years, but today I took the train to right under the Freedom Tower. Got off at World Trade Center and then walked a block and a half to the studios of AFA Today. But I'm so glad that you're with us every single weekday as we seek to obliterate confusion, as we seek to amplify truth, as we seek to pursue clarity. I understand that sometimes some of you are going to get a little upset with me. Yesterday, there were some of you that got a little upset with me. But you did not hear me say what you thought you heard me say. I'm going to get to that in just a second. We've got some news I want to make sure you're aware of. All of the elitist left in Washington, D.C. are now calling Congressman Darrell Issa a racist because he called the meeting that his committee the committee that he chairs, he had called a meeting. That meeting came to an end, and he turned it off and turned all the mics off. And the ranking member for the other side wanted to stand there and bark at the moon for a little while, and he didn't really acknowledge him. He just was like, whatever, and he left. He turned all the mics off and left. Well, now because he didn't insist that the mics stay on, now because he didn't sit there and tolerate the moon barking by Congressman Cummings, Congressman Darrell Issa is being labeled a racist by those on the left. So it's just another day of games in Washington. I wish that they actually spent as much time thinking about and proactively deciding the actions that they were going to take on actual policy as much as they would about the media strategy on how they respond to these types of silly things. It just bothers me. Something else that bothers me, yesterday the American Atheists were back in court here in Manhattan. They were trying to argue, get this, that the cross found at 9/11 is Christian. It's on public land because it's in a museum, and therefore it is illegal. Now, the American Atheists, headed by David Silverman, have already lost this case. They started 3 years ago on this case. They've lost it. Right now, they're trying to appeal the appeal of the loss or something like that. And but they're going to a little bit of an extreme edge on this now, I think, because Silverman insists that the plaintiffs that his American Atheists represent, he insists that those plaintiffs are suffering dyspepsia. They have pangs over being discriminated against, and that they are physically ill because the cross that was found in the wreckage of 9/11 was preserved and put into the museum. You got any opinion on that? I know one thing it tells me. If I already didn't have my mind made up about God, this would not be a good advertisement for atheism for me. Because if you cannot handle the sight of something that you oppose, you got real problems. I mean, especially if you live in a country as diverse as this. When we pass a Muslim on the street, are we supposed to just like fall over in shock and begin violently vomiting? Because no, nobody does that. Do you know that they believe something different than you? Yeah. Should it bother you? I don't think so. But evidently, these atheists, they're weak-kneed. They're little willy wimps. They're weltering in the heat that is the powerful cross that was found at Ground Zero. And because they don't have a monument to something for them, then they are feeling sick. Now, I wonder what you would... here's something I would like to take a phone poll on. If atheists... Okay, if a judge came back and said, okay, well, just to be fair, because we let a little yarmulke with a Star of David get placed in there, and we got a little holy water from Buddha or India or somewhere else, and then there's the cross. So we're going to let the atheists erect their memorial. Now, first of all, I think all 5 of them might disagree on one of them from the other. But let me just ask you this. What would be the ideal atheist memorial? If they were going to put something in the 9/11 museum, what should it be? 888-589-8840. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, you believe that there is no thing. So maybe no thing should be your memorial. Maybe just draw a big circle around nothing and say, okay, here's the atheist's memorial in the 9/11 museum. But they're having dyspepsia. Now, I'm not exactly sure what dyspepsia is, but it sounds awfully bad. It sounds like acid indigestion, actually. But it's making them sick that the beams that stood following 9/11 in the perfect shaping of a cross somehow got included in the museum for the memorial. That's really odd. Talk about thin-skinned, incapable of dealing with reality. Talk about how, they're just so intolerant, and they want everybody else to be tolerant of their belief, but they can't be tolerant of other people's beliefs. I mean, this is kind of silly, isn't it? But what would you put? What would you put in the 9/11 museum to demonstrate the commitment of fairness to the American atheists? Because we have to be fair. We always have to be fair. And if you got a cross, and you got a little yarmulke with the Star of David, and you got a little bottle of holy water for the Hare Krishnas. No, that would be a rose in some guy's toga. I don't know what all they would put in there, but if you're going to, for the atheists, what should be the memorial that they erect? Hey, what about one of those little plastic, those plastic cubes they make and they put things in, so it's like, suspended in space, like, I don't know, like a fly from a fly fisherman set or something. But put it in there, and then maybe just a clear plastic block. Here, this is the atheist memorial for the 9/11. There's nothing there, and we believe that there's nothing out there. So here, it's the perfect memorial. But to claim that the existence of the cross is causing their people to get sick, they're falling over, they're getting the stomach flu because they walked past the 9/11 cross. Let me just take a few of these. It's Friday. I want to have some fun. Let's talk to Monty in Virginia. Hi, Monty.
Hey, Kevin. Just a quick comment to sort of answer your question.
What should they put in there? What would you put in there for an atheist memorial?
Well, real quickly, I would put, as we have no left turn, no right turn, that kind of thing.
Right.
I would put, a circle with God in it, and maybe connected to that a circle with the cross in it, and then I would put a line through both of them saying, no God, no Jesus. What do you think?
That's, I don't know. I mean, they'd probably object to the fact that the cross was appearing on their memorial. Well,
and Kevin, I say that because we can never serve and satisfy the attitudes and the lack of wisdom of the people that we don't necessarily oppose. We love them, but we don't understand them.
No, yes, of course, I agree with all of that. 888-589-8840. What memorial? What piece of something do you put in the 9/11 memorial to satisfy the atheists that are mad that the 9/11 cross is still in there? They've been suing for 3 years to try to get this out. Evidently, it's causing heart disease and cancer in people as they walk. Perfectly healthy people go into the 9/11 thing. They walk past the 9/11 cross, and all of a sudden, all their hair starts falling out, and their fingernails turn up backwards. That's what the head of the American Atheist is making it sound like. Let's talk to David in Louisiana. Hi, David. What would you put in there? How would you best represent the memorial for the atheist?
Well, I really don't know because it's nothing. But maybe on the cross, it could have that scripture about how the cross brings death to the unbeliever. It brings life to the believer, but to the unbeliever, it brings.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're back to the same problem. That's a Christian belief, right? So you and I get it, but the atheist, because he said on Megyn Kelly last night, all he wants to do is fight for what's fair. So if you're going to have the yarmulke with the little Star of David, and you got the bottle of holy water from the Japanese emperor worship cult, and then you've got the Christian cross. What would you put in there that would represent what how the atheists could then be represented and say, see, that's us. That's what we're about. Because it's very important that we explain what we're about. Because it's on public land and you got a cross. Let's see. Let's go to Vaughn in Tennessee. Hey, Vaughn, welcome.
Welcome. I'm sorry. Thank you. Excuse me. Welcome on the phone.
I got you all messed up. It's Friday, and you're already thinking about the weekend.
I'm just really irritated. But anyway, may I have a plaque which reads something? Is that okay?
Okay, plaque might work. Tell me what's on the plaque.
If chance be the mother of all things, then when you hear youths go looting, sniper kills 12, state of emergency, it is but the sound of man worshiping his maker.
I didn't follow the middle part of all of that. What was that about?
What I'm basically saying is all the chaos, all the madness that they want to embrace with having no God around, if chance is the mother of all things, then all these things, all this noise and chaos and madness and anger and viciousness is the sound of men worshiping their maker, which is chance.
It's got potential. I'm still not sure it's all quite settled in my mind, but hey, it's something. It's better than an empty plastic cube of something, just air. Let's talk to Mike in Mississippi. This is turning into a great suggestion. I'm going to send all these suggestions to the American Atheist headquarters and let them pick a winner. Mike, go right ahead.
Frank.
Hi.
Thanks for taking my call. The way I look at it is like this. They don't believe in anything, so why should they even put anything in there? Nothing is what they believe in, so nothing is what they should go in there to represent the atheists.
Well, you could, but how do you demonstrate that? Do you have like a plate with like nothing on it? And you say, well, if we did believe something, it would be on this plate. It would be on this little a tray. I don't know. How do you... See, and Megan didn't ask him that question last night. I was like, see, Kelly, I could do it. I could whip back that question at him, and then he'd be like, I'm not sure. Okay, just a couple of more of these because this is fun, but it is Friday. We've got actual news. Jim in Florida, hi. What do you put in the 9/11 museum that accurately represents the atheist in a way that that people could recognize it and go, oh, that's the atheist? Well, what would you put?
Man, it would have to be a calendar with the day of the year, their day of the year mark. The Bible says, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. It would have to be April 1st, Fool's Day.
Now we're getting creative. That's kind of interesting. I like that, I think. Let's go to Allison in Texas. Hi, Allison. Welcome. Glad you're with us. What do the atheists put in the 9/11 museum?
Well, we can co-opt their spaghetti monster that they like to use to mock God. I mean, their belief is about as ridiculous as the thought of a spaghetti monster. I mean, it would be the symbol that most people would recognize. Oh, yeah, that's an atheist group. You know, they believe in nothing. They believe in something irrelevant. But really, I just don't understand why, and this is my comment, I feel like, why in America do we have to appease to all different religions? I know there's that freedom of religion thing, but if you were to go to a Muslim country and be like, well, I demand that symbol of Allah gets taken down and because it offends me and, you know, we have weak stomachs against that, I don't think that would be met with the same sort of response we give in the United States.
Allison, you are so right. And one of the things that makes America the great country that it is because it's founded on Judeo-Christian principles, which are the only worldview system in the world that allows for actual tolerance of people that disagree with them. It's truly an amazing thing. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us on this Friday. Stay with us. AFA Today and AFR Talk continue next.